but the change, the demographic changes that have been happening, the infrastructure throughout all of Israel here, that is obviously showing that they intend to have two states here. Regardless of what others may think about that, this is something that is very obvious. I have held very strongly that the arches that were put up on Highway 1, the new highways that are being built, how they widen the Highway 1 coming up here, I have really believed that this could easily be altered into a checkpoint, although they are calling it some kind of eco-bridge, I believe is the name for it, so that the bunny rabbits can get from one side to the other. I don't know, Simon Tov, if they really think that the rabbits are going to get it, or are they going to put signs out for them so they can get across the road. So we've spent millions of dollars here in Israel to build this eco-bridge that, to me, and I have believed it from the beginning, still hold to it, it is going to be a checkpoint in the near future as things change here. Your thoughts, my brother?
You know, let me begin by about 13, 14 years ago, and I've been living in Jerusalem for most of the last 18 years. We had some good friends that lived in the Galilee, and we'd go up periodically to see them, driving up the Jordan Valley. And for every time we went up, there'd be a kid with a beach umbrella and a rifle laying on his lap, sitting on a lawn chair in the middle of the road, and that was the checkpoint at the top of the... And I don't know, I forget the year, but we came up there one time, and when we got there, the kid's there with his gun and the umbrella, and off to the side there was some machinery, some heavy-duty machinery, and everything inside me said, something evil's about to happen. And we got to Yavnel, where our friends lived. I said, what's cooking over there? He said, they're getting ready to put in a border crossing there. I said, for what? He said, yes, for what? And so within 18 months, there's now steel gates there. There's armed guards. They've got from one kid with a gun sitting on a lawn chair. There's now security company of about 25 or 30 people with walls, concrete walls and fences, and there's no question, border crossing booths, cameras, and nothing has changed other than the construction of this. They did the exact same thing just at the south end of Jerusalem, going out of Gilo on Highway 60. They put in a very elaborate border crossing. It's probably spent about $40 or $50 million putting in walls alongside. And it's just everywhere I look, and going north and south of Jerusalem. Also right here at the northern, as you come up out of the Dead Sea to Jerusalem, you come to a border crossing. A border crossing for what? The thing is we've been watching the infrastructure and the separation of this country. And you know, there's been a ghetto mentality amongst the Jewish people since the beginning of time. And we have this, I don't know what started it, but every time trouble comes, we build walls. And who ends up in the ghettos is us. And if you look at Israel from a map today, you'll see a wall that surrounds us and isolates us from the rest of the world.
I can see that. Another thing I noticed as well, Simon Tov, is that in Israel, or especially around Jerusalem, they even built new highways coming in from the south. They built highways coming in from the north here. And what troubles me, I know that there is plans for a third temple. I would not be against a third temple if it is a house of prayer. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with it being a third temple for the Jewish people, especially for the Jewish people. My concerns are, though, they're not going to build it per se for our people. Both of us are Jewish brothers. We both profess our faith in Yeshua. And, you know, this is something that would not trouble us. But I don't believe this is what the temple is going to be for. The Jewish people naturally will, I would imagine the majority will embrace we're getting a temple built, but they will be surprised in the end when they find out that it's really not what it's supposed to be for. But the point is we see the infrastructure coming in. We see that even though in the government is not accepting the deal as a two-state solution, But it's almost as if there's forces on the outside. As we see what with Pastor Paul and yourself when you were speaking about earlier, NATO is trying to force a two-state solution, something that you cannot force upon the Israeli people, but the infrastructure has already gone in. Who gave that? Who gave the command for this infrastructure? Where did that come from? And how do you perceive any of these things here that have happened here in the last several years?
Without mentioning names, but several years ago, I was at a Bible study, and we got a phone call, and it was a woman that was a very close aide to Ariel Sharon. She was weeping uncontrollably on the telephone. And after a few minutes, we finally calmed her down and said, "What's going on?" She said, "I've just been in a boardroom in the Knesset, and there was a number of dignitaries from the United States, from a number of countries in Europe, and they just essentially agreed to a division of the state of Israel and Jerusalem. And it was signed by the Prime Minister and all of these different people. And I don't know if it's important, all the names right now, because I don't want to jeopardize anybody's life. But I'll tell you, there was something put in place at that time. And I've watched, like I just explained to you, I've watched the infrastructure begin to be put in place. People are saying there will never be a Palestinian state. I'm sorry, it's already here.
Yes.
We've got Palestinian police in Jerusalem. We've got signs that me, a Jew, am not allowed to go into the most Jewish cities in the world, Bethlehem, Shechem, Jericho. If I come to those places, there's a big sign there in red saying, "You're not allowed in here and you could be killed." So is there a Palestinian state being assembled? You'd have to be actually retarded not to say yes, because it's there. It's in you.
Well, you know, Shimon Tov, this is what I have been saying all along. The state was already done. I did not know the details that you have just shared. Now, this would make sense why Netanyahu has been fighting all this, but the thing is, if he's fighting something that's already approved, it's not that from his own heart he's not trying to get this to be turned around or to stop or whatever the case may be, or even others that are in the Knesset that are trying to stop this from coming to pass. But unfortunately, they can't. I've said it for almost a year now, maybe longer. The two-state solution is no longer a solution. It's a done deal. It's already been done. People are looking for something that's long been done, and now we see that the proof is there, and we don't need any more names. Just the fact that we know who was in power at the time is Ariel Sharon. That says it all, and that's where the land was divided, and it's sad for our people. Now, just for the sake of time, because I don't want to keep you, you've been long enough. Thank you so much for being with us today. I would like to ask one final thing. I have had a lot of respect for President Putin for going to Syria, but I've also known that President Putin went there because he signed a deal for the oil and natural gas off the coast of Syria, as well as for oil rights inside of Syria with Bashar al-Assad. So to me, and he's been very open, he hasn't hid anything. He said it was for his own national interest. He's gone there to protect Assad against the United States, NATO, who have been trying, along with Turkey and Saudi Arabia, to overthrow Assad. He's there to protect him because he has a special interest there. My concern is, he also signed a deal back in January of 2014 with Mahmoud Abbas for the same thing, the natural gas off the coast of Gaza, as well as the oil rights in the so-called West Bank. I have said over and over and over, when the time comes, he's going to come here and protect what he believes is rightfully his. Doesn't matter who comes in here to try to be the cowboy to save Israel, which God will save our people. We don't need any help. God will save our people. What are your thoughts on this with Vladimir Putin, Russia, under these types of circumstances we're dealing with today?
That's, that one prophetic word that Lance Lambert gave last year, just before he died, that God would turn Israel inside out and outside in. But that God would ultimately be Israel's defender and protector. But he did say this at the end of his word. He said, "Watch Russia. She's up to no good." and the outcome of what they're up to will be evil. And yes, Russia right now is in Syria. They've got, over 100,000 troops. A few months back, are they still in the country there? I don't know. But Russia, China, Iran are all based on our northern border right now. Israel is placing military equipment and people up there in an unprecedented number right now. And as far as the gas off the coast of Gaza, I don't understand Israel's government's thinking, but we've actually expanded their rights to the minerals and fish off the coast of Gaza. What's the incentive? What do we get in return is not being expressed. But are there those that are watching and seeing the benefits of taking over this country, helping our enemies to succeed? Yes, and Russia definitely being one of them.
It's amazing. Shimon Tov, thank you so much for coming on with us here. And I know you must be wore out, but we certainly appreciated it. That is tremendous insight there. And we love you, my brother. God bless you. God bless your family. Guys, definitely check out the work that Shimon Tov and his wife have been doing on their channel, on their YouTube channel. You have a website as well, is that correct? What is your website?
wordfromYerushalayim.wordpress.com.
Is the YouTube channel Word from Yerushalayim on YouTube. Check it out. Shimon Tov, incredible biblical insights, and I know it'll be a blessing to you. God bless you, and thank you for watching. Thank you, Shimon, again. Thank you for your time.